Welcome to Riviera Rats, a Palm d'Or podcast. I am Greg.
I am Bill.
And today we have another bonus episode for you.
A bonus update, if you will.
Yes. We have our latest update from the latest Cannes Film Festival, which will be starting in just over 10 days. We've got some new information to share. Some new features have been added to the competitions, and we have our juries.
We do.
Tell us about the festival.
Right. Well, we mentioned it last time, but as a reminder, the festival is starting very soon. When we're recording this and when we're releasing it, it opens on May 13th. It will run until the 24th. Since we last recorded, we also had the revelation of the festival poster, which is a double poster, shot, reverse shot, taken from the 1966 Palme d'Or winner, A Man and a Woman by Claude Lelouch. This is a movie that last time I saw it many years ago, it was on the level of The Knack in terms of how much I love it. But we'll see what happens when we revisit it. But it features Jean-Louis Trintignant and Anouk Aimée, both of whom have passed away, right? He died, right?
Yes, I think he died.
She definitely did.
Yeah, last year. On to the other competitions and films out of competition. Here is a list of titles that have been just added this past week. In Un Certain Regard, we have Love Me Tender by Anna Cazenave-Cambé. Is that a French middle name or French first surname?
First of all, I don't want to get any more messages from your friends defending you against the tyranny of my correcting your pronunciation. Almodovar, I get it. I think it's Cazenave, but I'm not sure. I don't know hers.
She's here with Love Me Tender. She's been here before out of competition. She was here in La Cine Fondation in 2016 when she also won the Queer Palm. From Simone Mesa Soto, we have Un Poeta. This director has competed in short film competitions in 2014 and 2016. And had returned out of competition with his feature debut just a few years ago. Ooh, here comes the Portuguese portion of the podcast. From Pedro Pinho, we have I Only Rest in the Storm or O Riso e a Facha. How was that?
I don't think there's a ch sound in Portuguese. It's a s or a sh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
why it sounds like Italian after you got kicked in the head.
He was last year out of competition in 2017 when he won a prize in the Director's Fortnight section. And then joining the ranks of Scarlett Johansson and Harris Dickinson, we have first-time filmmaker Kristen Stewart joining Un Certain Regard with The Chronology of Water. Kristen Stewart is... Well, what do we say about her? She broke out with her child performance in Panic Room, then went on to global success with the Twilight series.
I don't know that she broke out with Panic Room. I don't know that anyone really paid any attention to her until Twilight. A breakout sounds like she made a splash.
Okay. She rose to...
But I remember when Twilight came out, we were like, oh, wasn't that the girl in Panic Room? Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That's the phrasing.
And we hated her for a while because she had only two facial expressions, and then she started making auteur films in which those two facial expressions revealed much more depth. She seems much more interesting, and I'm happy to watch her in anything. Although she got nominated for an Oscar for like one of my least favorite performances of hers, but you know, this is how things go.
Yeah, she's got the Emma Stone, Charlize Theron problem where she gets recognized by major awards for my least favorite of her works.
Yeah.
We have a few Cannes premieres. Love on Trial by Koji Fukada. He'd been here in competition in the Un Certain Regard competition when he won a jury prize in 2016. I don't have the title that he won for, unfortunately. From Hilner Palmason, we have Aston Sem Eftir. And you and I have seen one of this director's other movies. He was in Un Certain Regard in 2022 with Godland, which that made the Academy shortlist.
Yeah.
Great movie.
And should have been nominated, actually. I thought that movie was really good.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
A long, glacially paced movie that is never boring.
Mm.
We've got Lav Diaz here with Magalhães. He was last year in Un Certain Regard in 2013. He's also, more notably, won the Golden Lion at Venice for The Women Who Left.
Yeah, he's interesting. His movies are all 8 hours long, and I don't know. I haven't really broken through with Filipino cinema. We're going to talk about that in our next episode.
We've got a few midnight screenings, 2 midnight screenings to be precise. Le Roi Soleil by Vincent Mael Cardona. He was last in competition in La Cine Fondation in 2010 and had been here again a few years ago. And then we've got Honey Don't by Ethan Coen of the Coen brothers. He's the not attractive one.
Mm-hmm.
He's been...
You're talking relatively, but yes.
Oh, Joel takes me to a place.
Okay.
I also really had it going for the male lead or the main hot guy in Shiva Baby. That guy lived in my brain for a week, so you can see I have a type. They've been here in competition a few times with Inside Llewyn Davis, No Country for Old Men, and The Lady Killers. But of course, Ethan Coen has been working with Joel Coen long before that, and Joel Coen gets the recognition for earlier competitions because he was the director. They'd been here a couple more times in Uncertain Regard or Out of Competition, and he's quite decorated alongside his brother. He has 4 Oscars under his belt, 3 of them for No Country for Old Men, which was a Best Picture winner.
Did you see his first movie as sole director?
Drive Away Dolls?
Yeah.
No, and actually I had to, while looking at his IMDb page for this episode, I had to remind myself which one did Drive Away Dolls and which one did The Tragedy of Macbeth. Did you see Drive Away Dolls?
No. I'm just wondering if we're excited that he's made another one, but yeah.
Yeah. From what I think people said, it was fine. Nobody really laughed in the theater when they were supposed to, but no one hated it either.
I'm also curious how long this is going to go on, because I know that they're not feuding, or at least I don't get that impression. I have a feeling that they just both have their stuff they want to do, and they're probably going to go back to making movies together at some point.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm also curious, I would like to see them do a few more of their own movies to find out how they separate as individual auteurs.
I guess so, although I can't say that Macbeth seemed all that different to me than a Coen Brothers movie, but yeah.
We have in special screenings Amélie et la métaphysique des tubes by co-directors Mélie Valade and Liane Cho Han. This is a first feature, but Valade is known for her artwork on the cartoon I Lost My Body.
Oh, that's a great movie.
This movie is also a cartoon.
Yeah.
Is it good? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's really good. It's on Netflix, I think.
We have Mama by Or Sinai. This is also a first feature. This person has competed at Cannes before in La Cine Fondation. We have Arco by Hugo Bienvenu, also a first feature. And I couldn't find anything else really about this person. We have Qui brille au combat by Joséphine Japy. She is an actress. She got a lot of recognition for her breakout role in Breathe in 2015. And then, as part of a tribute to comedy director Pierre Richard, we have a new movie by Pierre Richard called L'homme qui a vu l'homme.
L'ours. It's a bear.
L'os. Okay.
L'ours. Like Ursine.
Ah.
Yeah, Ursa Major. It's the man who saw the bear who saw the man.
Ah, okay. And then this director, he's more known in France. He did have one crossover hit with The Tall Blonde Man with One Black Shoe from 1972.
Oh, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, he has.
I watched that not long ago. That was remade as the Tom Hanks movie, The Man with One Red Shoe.
Oh, I missed that one.
Okay.
All right.
You're missing out.
I've been missing out on Tom Hanks movies as of recent.
Is it a tribute because he's still around? I haven't read about this, so this is news to me. Oh, yeah, 90 years old. Wow.
They're doing a showcase for him, probably doing a retrospective, and then as part of that, they're going to be showing a new movie of his.
Wow, that's crazy. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Tall Blonde Man with One Black Shoe is fun. It's French comedy rarely travels outside that country because they just have a cultural appreciation for things that is different than what North Americans go for. So a lot of times their huge popular comedies aren't funny to us. And they're rarely their most popular movies. And they're rarely the most popular stars, like that, what's his name, De Funès, who is the most popular star in French cinema history. And none of us have ever seen his movies outside of France because he's a comedy star. And it's just not what anybody else goes for. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Bill, won't you tell us about our juries?
Greg, our jury this year for the official competition is some major, major heavy hitters, and I'm happy to reveal them all on this stage. Oh no, we're on audio. Juliette Binoche, of course, is our jury president. We waxed poetic about her in the last episode. She's probably somewhere crying. We also have on the jury the great Halle Berry, American actress and filmmaker, director of Bruised, most famous as... I mean, what is she most famous for? She's so famous for so many things. She was in The Flintstones. She was in Bulworth. She was a model. And then, of course, she became the first, and shockingly still only, African-American actress to win the Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role for Monsters Ball in 2001, which is a movie that I really liked. And I thought she was really good. And even if I don't know that I would have picked her, but, you know, it's a moment and it's an important one. And she wore a nice dress. And I've liked her ever since. I think Halle Berry she's always seemed to me like someone I would enjoy talking to.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with her Oscar win. No one is saying, Sissy Spacek was robbed.
Yeah, or Nicole Kidman. Very exciting, we have the great Payal Kapadia, Indian director and screenwriter, who last year took second place at Cannes for...
All We Imagine As Light.
All We Imagine As Light. I couldn't remember the title all of a sudden. It was like All the Mornings of the World.
My favorite movie of last year.
Yeah, and like my number one or number two. I mean, it's an incredible film, and it is that's the one thing that upset me about the result of... Like, genuinely upset me about the results of last year's award season, this past year's award season, which is that after the Golden Globes, this film got dropped. I mean... Not one Oscar nomination for something. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
However, I know people who saw it and told me they snoozed through the whole thing. So I guess it wasn't everybody's flavor. But I had a great time watching it. I had a great time seeing it with you. And I just think it's a magical, incredible film. And she's delightful. I mean, to hear her in interviews is a real pleasure. She's like every girl I went to high school with, which is partly why I love her. But yeah.
It's delightful to hear her just soaking up this recognition she's getting for the first time.
Yeah. And deservedly. And I mean, I'm so excited about
truly
the next
grateful.
film. Yeah. But that's what real artists are, though. They don't go around thinking they're amazing. And that's why they create amazing work, because they do the work. Mm-hmm. Just in case Xavier Dolan is listening. You and I speculated on what Alba Rohrwacher would be presenting at the Oscars, and it turned out that she was one of the 5 people presenting Best Cinematography because they had actors from the films nominated for cinematography presenting on the show. I don't even know how she got that dress into a car, let alone onto that stage. It was one of the most hideous ensembles of the evening. But I do like her. Alba Rohrwacher is, of course, a notable actress in Italian cinema in her own right. She's also the sister of Alice Rohrwacher, whose films she always appears in. Maybe outside of Italy is best known for those films, although I've seen her in many things. She's actually about to take over the lead role in the television adaptation of My Brilliant Friend.
Oh, cool.
Which she has been narrating for the first 3 seasons. She's in an Isabel movie called Dormant Beauty by Marco Bellocchio, which I think is the first time I remember seeing her. She won Best Actress at Venice for Hungry Hearts, which I believe is a film with Adam Driver, who also won Best Actor at that festival. I haven't seen it. And she's cool. She's also in The Lost Daughter. She has a small part in that.
It should be mentioned, she's also very unique looking.
She is very unique looking.
Like in a Veronica Cartwright way.
And in The Lost Daughter, she looked very different, as if she had gone through a severe illness. And I hope that that's not the case. And if it was, I hope she's okay. She's very good in Maria, too, which is the nomination she was presenting.
Maria, a movie only you and I liked, it would seem.
It would seem, yeah. Even Eleni was like, it was fine. And I was like, all right. And Eleni is someone who will like an entire movie just because one character speaks Greek for 3 seconds, just so you know. We have Moroccan writer Leila Slimani. This is not a writer I'm familiar with. I looked her up and I have not read anything of hers.
Her IMDb is lean, but like her bibliography, her filmography, her career has just started, it would seem.
Okay.
But she made a short film that's being turned into a TV show.
Okay. From Congo, we have Dieudo Hamadi, a director, documentarist, producer. most recently of Downstream to Kinshasa. This is also an artist whose work I have not experienced thus far.
Same.
But someone who I do have a lot of experience with is certainly one of my favorite Korean filmmakers, certainly one of my favorite filmmakers, Hong Sang-soo, the Eric Romer of Korea of the modern age, who makes a film every 10 minutes, and it's always just, watching a girl walk to the store and back and get into a fight with an ex-boyfriend, and I love every single one. I've seen most of them. I never know which one's which if you give me a title, because they all kind of blend. They're a lot like Ozu's movies in this regard, but I think he is so incredibly good at capturing humans in these light interactions, revealing deeper things beneath. Of the many films that he has directed, I think the one that I like the most is Night and Day. I think because that was the movie that made me get him. Maybe if I rewatched it, it wouldn't strike me that differently than his other stuff, but I had seen one film of his before that I didn't really like, and then I watched Night and Day and I was like, oh, I get it. And then I've liked him ever since. I also really like On the Beach at Night Alone. He works with Kim Min-hee a lot, and I really like her a lot. He's also worked with Isabel a few times, of course, which is also worth noting.
I enjoyed A Traveler's Needs from last year.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet, but I think it's called In Another Country, which he also did with Isabel. And someone else I have experience with, we have Carlos Regadas, the Mexican director, screenwriter, producer. Very appreciated at Cannes. I've never known why. I'm just not on this train. You liked Silent Light more than I did. That movie's okay. I find it kind of boring. I hated Battle in Heaven. I hated Post Tenebras Lux, which he won Best Director for at Cannes. I think he's obnoxious and pretentious and makes these ridiculously, unnecessarily provocative movies that don't really say anything.
Hapon is all right.
I haven't seen that one. And then lastly, we have the guy who's going to sit in the corner of the room and stew at everybody. Jeremy Strong, recent Emmy winner for Succession, recent Oscar nominee for The Apprentice. Terrific actor, a terrific character actor. When you cast him right in the vein of the energy that he transmits, he really makes his mark. I can just see him at the jury meetings in his orange bucket hat and matching tweed suit. Are we going to talk about this? Are we going to talk? Okay. Let's just get the list in order, and then we'll vote. That should be fun.
Yeah, I'm curious what it is that draws James Gray towards working with him and Joaquin Phoenix. Does he just like to spend that much time with people of that character?
Maybe, or a lot of times directors are attracted to actors who sort of transmit the persona that they see in themselves or that they wish they saw in themselves. And not to no one's surprise, it's usually like a hyper-glamorized version of themselves, like Mastroianni and Fellini. Or Sidney Pollack sort of dealing with his own ethnic shame by always casting, the blonde, waspy god Robert Redford in all of his films.
With Jeremy Strong, I read his biography. I found out he did not grow up wealthy at all. And I wonder sometimes if his seeming stiff in public and in stories from shoots, it's that he still doesn't think he belongs.
Maybe, or he was doing everything until something hit and he started getting cast and he just stuck to it, because that can also happen. You discover the persona that sells, and so you sort of ride that. And by biography, I assume you mean that you read a blurb on the internet. I don't assume you took a book out of the library. Jeremy Strong, An Actor's Life.
I do want to say... I do want to give recognition where it's due. It's no small task to follow a 5-star performance of a real person. And if you told me anybody was going to play Roy Cohn after Al Pacino, I would say, good luck, Judy. And I was really impressed with him in The Apprentice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked about this on BGM as well, that he makes something... I don't know if he made him sympathetic, because, Roy Cohn is one of the great all-time American political villains, but he certainly made him human and vulnerable, and that was very interesting, because I cared a great deal about him by the end. I cared about learning about him by the end and seeing where his trajectory went, because I'm fascinated by this idea that he basically raised ravens and they pecked out his eyes, is what he did.
Cria cuervos.
So, other juries. We'll go through these quickly because they're not that interesting. We have the Un Certain Regard jury. We have English director, screenwriter, cinematographer Molly Manning Walker as our jury president. She recently had a success with How to Have Sex, which neither of us have watched yet. We have the French-Swiss director Louise Courvoisier, who made Ugly Cow. These are all people that I'm just not watching anything I find when I'm looking at these recent juries. From Croatia, Vanja Kalujercic, the director of the Rotterdam International Film Festival. Hi, Pandeli, that's where my cousin lives. We have Italian director Roberto Minervini, who I thought I'd seen some of his stuff, but I looked up his list and I was like, oh, I haven't seen any of these. Probably most famous for The Damned.
He's cute.
Oh, hold on. Let me look that up. Yeah, he's cute. He's Greg coded, but he's cute, yeah. And we have the actor Nahuel Perez Biscayar, who we recently talked about when we covered the film he starred in, BPM. I haven't seen him in anything else, have you? Or have I? And I don't remember.
No, I hadn't. And I didn't realize he was Argentinian.
He might be Argentinian born. I think he is a French actor, though.
He's fantastic in BPM.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. The jury of the short films and La Cine Fondation, our president is Maren Ade, the German auteur genius, who made Tony Erdmann, which is a movie I still am in awe of, and who makes a film like once every 10 years, but it's well worth waiting for. We have the American director, screenwriter, producer Reynaldo Marcus Green, who did King Richard. We have French actress, singer, songwriter Camelia Jordana, who I'm not familiar with. I don't know about you.
No.
From Spain, the former director of Filmoteca Española, we have José María Prado García. And the Croatian director, screenwriter Nebojša Slijepčević, who made The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. Tell me what this immersive competition is, Greg.
Well, it's movies that are immersive.
So like museum pieces, like gallery pieces?
It's virtual reality installations, mixed reality experiences, video mapping, holographic works.
So this is something they've had already. I think they've just called it this for the first time this year.
In fact, they did it last year. Because one of the people who's on the jury this year won last year, and that's Tania de Montaigne. Okay. Yeah, it's people judging like Kusama works, basically.
Okay, that's all right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Another reason for tourism.
Right. Because whether or not they've had a competition for this before, they've had these presentations before. Because didn't that one that Iñárritu won a special Oscar for, wasn't that also at Cannes, or am I mistaking that?
I forget.
We don't do research for this show. Okay. So for the immersive competition, our president is Luc Jacquet, who is the director of March of the Penguins. That movie is like 20 years ago. No.
It's 20 years ago. So mid. It is so mid.
But it's so charming.
Yeah, I just don't know a lot of nature documentaries that have broken the mold.
Yeah, and I mean, my God, what a runaway hit. And the amount of times I would catch my dad watching it, and I remember one time I was like, why are you watching March of the Penguins again? And he said, because this is old age. That's what he said.
So your dad loves March of the Penguins, Thelma and Louise, and Fragrant Tomatoes.
The Godfather and Goldfinger. Sean Connery, his only beloved movie star. And have I mentioned this before? The look on my dad's face when I was watching Zardoz. And he just stares at the screen and he's like, what is he wearing? And what is this?
That's speaking homosexual. Who made this choice?
Yeah. In which Sean Connery is what Jason Mantzoukas called 70s fit. Anyway, which is a fit I like, but not in that costume. Anyway, also on the immersive competition jury, we have Laurie Anderson, of course, American musician, director, writer. I believe Heart of a Dog is in the Criterion Collection, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
I've never
correct.
seen it. Tania de Montaigne, as you mentioned, the French author and interpreter. We have Martha Fiennes, who is an English director, screenwriter, artist in her own right, and of course the sibling of the Fiennes brothers. She directed that adaptation of Onegin. That house must have been insufferable to sit at dinner with all these siblings achieving so much.
And well, she's just jealous because she doesn't have a giant dick.
Yeah, it's true. And then Sophie Fiennes is the one, I believe, who makes all those Slavoj Žižek documentaries, or is that Martha as well? There's four of them, at least four of them.
I don't recall. I actually didn't even know that there were... I only ever knew the two Fiennes brothers who are actors.
Oh, okay. And then we have Japanese video game creator Tetsuya Mizoguchi, who is an appropriate member of a jury for a competition of this nature. Greg,
Totally.
To wrap us up, we have 2 new additions to the official competition since we last recorded. Will you tell us about them?
Yes, these are exciting. From Lynn Ramsey, we have Die My Love. When the first 19 movies were announced in competition, people were shocked that she was not included. So I'm sure a number of people are relieved that she now is. She was last here in competition with You Were Never Really Here, for which she won a screenplay award. You can go listen to that episode that we did about that year. And she was in competition with We Need to Talk About Kevin in 2011, which I've still not seen.
Really?
She'd been here. Yeah, still not seen it. She'd been here before in On Start Some Regard with Ratcatcher. She's also very well known for Morvenkaller, which made the most recent international BFI poll for best movies of all time. And also in competition, we have Saeed Rustai with Woman and Child. And Rustai had last been here in 2022 in competition with Layla's Brothers, and is also known for Law of Tehran from 2019.
I haven't seen any of them.
No, neither have I. I love Iranian cinema. I love the Iranian films that are highlighted by the Cannes platform. I especially loved The Seed of the Sacred Fig from last year.
Yeah.
So let's see what this brings.
Yeah, and I'm excited about a new Lynn Ramsey. I like her a lot, even though I didn't love You Were Never Really Here, which we talked about. Also somebody who is not super regular in her output. I know that there was a point at which there were many years between films because she was actually developing some kind of sci-fi film that didn't pan out, something like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Where's her season of Big Little Lies?
Yeah, exactly. Because she is kind of another Andrea Arnold to me. They have a similar aesthetic and a similar output. Yeah.
Totally. Well, Bill, this has been fun. Now we go on to record another 3-hour episode.
But we will also be back with another bonus when the Cannes Film Festival is over. We'll talk about any headlines we learned over that period and the winners, of course.
Of course. Looking forward to it. See you then.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Riviera Rats.
Our podcast is hosted and produced by Bil Antoniou and Gregory Rosebrugh.
Our music is by Joe Organ.
Our artwork is by Leo Kouvaris.
Follow us on Instagram at Riviera Rats.
Write to us at ratsriviera@gmail.com.
If you want to support our show, tell your friends about us.
Leave us a rating and a review on whatever podcast app you use.